I was watching cable news last night and saw Mr. Hawk Newsome, the chairman of New York City's Black Lives Matter, make a threatening statement to the people of the United States. Take a look.
If this country doesn't give us what we want, then we will burn down this system and replace it.
Yes, he said, and I'll quote, "If this country doesn't give us what we want, then we will burn down this system." It seems that Black Lives Matter has thrown down the gauntlet. We will burn down this system, meaning the current system of civil society and capitalism in the United States. The needs of the rest of the people in America's multicultural society do not seem to matter. Just the demands of Black Lives Matter. Mr. Newsome thinks he will get away with his demands because we should, as he states,
and let's observe the history of the 1960s. When black people were rioting, we had the highest growth in wealth and property ownership.
And I'll quote, "Observe the history of the 1960s. When black people were rioting, we," Mr. Newsome refers to Afro-Americans, "had the highest growth in wealth, in property ownership." So in Mr. Newsome's mind, violence is the vehicle to Black Lives Matter getting their demands met. Well, I would like to tell Mr. Newsome that this is 2020, not the 1960s. A great deal has been done to improve society for all since the 1960s. But no matter what is done to improve society, it will never be enough to satisfy Black Lives Matter's need for threats and violence. I remind Mr. Newsome and Black Lives Matter that the First Amendment requires assembly to be peaceful when presenting grievances. Violence and burning down property are not protected activities under the First Amendment. Mr. Newsome's statements indicate seditious action against the United States, in my opinion. Sedition remains a crime in the United States under 18 U.S.C. Section 2384. A federal statute that punishes seditious conspiracy. 18 U.S.C. Section 2385, which outlaws advocating the overthrow of the federal government by force. And 18 U.S.C. Section 2383, which addresses rebellion and insurrection. The penalties for each count of sedition shall be a fine and/or imprisonment for not more than 20 years. So I think it is time for the federal government to start prosecuting seditious individuals and seditious organizations for any acts of sedition against the U.S. government. Nothing else will stop this threat. Threatening to burn down the system and acting on it is sedition. If the government will not protect its citizens and civil society, both of which are explicitly threatened by Black Lives Matter, then those threatened will have to protect themselves. The government must act before widespread civil unrest becomes a reality. Inaction on the part of the federal government will produce a real breakdown in civil society. Most of the people in this country are tired of being threatened by Black Lives Matter. I know I am. Well, I hope this helps. Have a good day.
Thank you.